So the Pulsar X2 has been my main mouse ever since I purchased it back in August. There was a lot of hype around this mouse. People were calling this the next Logitech Super Light Killer. And I've had the time for the past 3 months to test out both the regular size and the mini to see which one would be the best fit for me. And here are my thoughts about the two. I'm going to first go over the X2 mini because that was the initial size that I bought, and I was expecting it to be very similar to the X Lite V2, but the sizes are completely different. And my initial impressions out of the box for the X2 mini was that, damn, this thing is small. That's what she said. No, really, that's what she said about my hand size. The X2 mini was small even in my hands, and I have hands leaning towards the smaller side. I'm a relaxed claw grip user, and I always find it very difficult for me to have a consistent grip while I'm using the mouse. I found myself slipping into a fingertip grip most of the times, and I always need to pull the mouse back into my palm in order to get that claw grip. Even though the lack of consistency on the X2 mini was a negative experience for me, I think it's what makes the mouse unique on its own in terms of the size. You can get into different grip styles in terms of using a fingertip grip when it's necessary to do some flicks, and then pulling the mouse back into your palm when you need a more steady aim. However, the inconsistency of the grip style led to me just being inconsistent in my matches, especially in Valorant. I would pop off in one match, and then the next match I would have trouble even shooting straight at my enemies. And this led me to exchanging the X2 mini for the X2, and the X2 is a bit wider in comparison to X2 mini, but this allowed me to have more of a consistent grip, and it filled the back of my palm a bit more when I'm using the mouse, which is great if you are a claw grip user. The sides of this mouse are fairly straight with no grooves, and I found myself very comfortable when I'm using this mouse because it fits my playstyle a bit more. I'm a very steady aimer. I'm not a person that flicks to their targets all the time, so if you are a person like me who uses a relaxed claw grip or just a regular claw grip and you want a more consistent feel when it comes to using your mouse, you would definitely like the X2 regular size over the mini. My favorite part of the mouse are the comfort grooves that they implemented on mouse 1 and 2. It's a very nice touch to the mouse and makes it very comfortable to rest your fingers on top of the mouse. The mouse is running the latest Pulsar 3395 sensor, and with Pulsar software you can turn on motion sync for a more consistent cursor input. It has KO 8.0 switches, which is fine and pretty much standard on most mouse that are coming out these days, and I'm happy that they are finally using regular switches on their side buttons instead of these micro dot buttons on the X Lite V2. I also think that the placement of the side buttons are perfect for me when I'm playing Valorant. I don't find myself accidentally clicking on them, and they aren't too far away to reach. The scroll wheel is by far my favorite one to use out of all the mouse I've tested so far, and it reminds me a lot of a Logitech mouse scroll wheel. And here's a sound test of the mouse and the switches. My main issue with the X2 and the X2 mini was the quality control, because you would think by now Pulsar has everything figured out because they just came out with the amazing X Lite V2 and the V2 mini, but the quality control was an issue because both my mouse had quality control issues until I recently fixed it after sending it back to Pulsar. And I've read several people on Reddit on reviews mentioning the same thing with their mouse 1 and 2. And for the mini, it was the mouse 1 and 2. They bottomed out and they were not stable, and anytime you hold down the mouse 1 button and you had any movement at all, it was noticeable and you felt the switches going left and right. And for the X2, I ran into a double clicking issue only 1 month into using the mouse. I mean, luckily Pulsar does a great job with their customer service, and they paid for the repair, they paid for the shipping. I just had to send in the mouse, and I got the mouse back a week later, and now it's completely fine. Double clicking issue is gone. The switches actually feel a lot better than the original copy when I bought it initially after they fixed it. Besides from the QC issue that I ran into, this is by far my favorite mouse shape for my hand at least, and also with it being priced at $95 USD shipped, I think it's one of the mouse with the best value, and their software with the motion sync allows you to have more precision through your clicks. Hands down, one of my favorite mouse this year. And in terms of it being a super light killer, I mean, I don't have a super light with me here, but I've used it in my hands before, and the shape is very different. This hump here is more towards the rear, and the super light is more of your traditional egg shape that fills your entire hand and palm. This mainly focuses on the back of your palm whenever you're using it. And I really don't think this is going to be a super light killer, because those who like using the super light will continue using it. This is a different shape for a different crowd. If you're looking for something that's a little different, that has more of a rear hump instead of the traditional egg shape, then give this mouse a try, because I've been loving it so far. It's my main mouse that I use on all my games and all my activities. And by now, I think Pulsar fixed a lot of their QC issues, so you probably won't run into it as much. So hopefully you get a good copy, and if you don't, Pulsar does a great job with their returns, and also if you buy it off Amazon, it's a easy return as well. So hopefully this mouse is for you. Go check it out. I'll have links down in the description if you want to check it out, both the mini and the regular size. And also, you need to get the Super Glide skates. I'm a big fan of them. I've been using them for every single mouse that I've tested so far that they have a copy for, and they change the experience when it comes to using the mouse. So this will be my main for now. I'll be testing out other mouses out there, but this is my main, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you found it helpful. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.